Oh, now we have, suddenly, and we're going to take her right now before we go to break, Marjorie on line 4. How you doing?
Not bad.
Here, we got you today. This is a Wednesday.
Yes, but anyways, when I heard about Skylanders, I don't believe that for 1 minute. I'd have to be right there. You know, I think that's awful. It frightens me to death.
But sure, we don't know, right? So the best thing in my estimation is to say, well, just let it play out, let someone investigate and come back.
Let it play out, but if you know someone's character, that's trouble. No one speaks up, and the way you found them, you should say something about it.
Well, when you know people, your experience with them, and you know firsthand their reputation or their character, then no doubt, yes, you will come to a conclusion based on what you know of them.
And I know him pretty well, and I have and I think it's awful when people when it comes out like that. I'm not saying don't look into it, but to keep it quiet till it gets looked into, you're ruined. Once that comes out, you're ruined.
That's an unfortunate thing. I mean, whether it turns out to hold water or not, there's going to be some damage done, and people don't necessarily walk away and everything goes back to the way it was. There's still some smudge attached to your name, and it's very difficult to get away from that.
It makes me sad because he got a mother and two little children and a wife that loves him very much, and he got a really good character out there. I've never heard him. He's always a gentleman, and I've known him now since he's yay high. I'm not just talking about he was only a youngster when I met him. Yeah. And he was always a good character, so I think it's awful. The
troubling thing, of course, is many people are going to look at who made the accusations, and these apparently are two NDP MPs, and people in that position, regardless of the party, are going to be pretty careful before they go ahead and make any kind of allegations. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the leader did what he had to do in putting the suspensions in for now. It just makes the situation, I guess, a little bit more fair during the investigation phase, but we'll find out in due course, and we certainly hope that the truth is found and that we can go from there.
No, but it hurts your stomach to think that someone in another party, if you're ever going to vote for him, it just makes me so angry anyway, that things like that can happen. And that lady said you can't talk about it, and people can say things are not believed, women can tell lies as well as men.
Well, this was the implication of some of the statements made by the first caller, that essentially she was suggesting that if an allegation is made, then 99.9% times out of 100, it's going to hold some water. And I don't know if that's true. People do say things for all sorts of different reasons, and you just can't assume that every statement is holding any truth.
That's the truth, that the gospel,
and you can't assume it's all lies either. So you have to leave the jury out until the evidence is in.
I think it should be kept out of the news till it's all straightened out, and get the facts before it's announced, because it's too late then. But anyways, and poor Baxter out there, I did try. I listened to him every time, and I think that's the seniors home should be built down in Port Rex or anywhere out there, because they'll get paid for eventually. It's not like they're asking to have something that's not going to get paid for. Yeah. Because eventually the government will get their money back.
Absolutely. No, I think he's got a good point.
I don't think you should have to move out of the community if you don't want to, especially if there's nobody there, only a few people. But if you got a fairly half-decent big community, I think that the politicians should go down and have a look at it. And I was listening to Peter Will there, and I want about politicians. No one knows the life of a politician. I wouldn't even be a politician if they said you can have that seat. You don't even have to work for it and be a politician. I don't think it's worth it. And they're blaming Kathy Dunderdale for leaving. Sure, they want her gone. They wander out. They were on the open line and everywhere they could get, making cracks every other day. I wouldn't have stayed either.
Well, the fact that she was under pressure to leave as leader and premier doesn't mean she necessarily has to resign her seat, though.
Well, let's not catch you, they got to remember that politicians are human beings and got feelings too. And to say that Tom Marshall is the one fella that was in public that did everything that it was possible to do, and it just makes me angry anyway.
I thought of you when he made that comment, by the way.
Pardon?
I thought of you. I knew you were going to have something to say about that.
Oh, yes, because I think it's sad, because if anybody was around Tom Marshall and knew Tom Marshall, they'll know that there's never another person that won public light can touch him or match him for wanting to care, wanting to give, wanting to do. He spent many of hours thinking, and he gave seniors more than they'll ever get ever again. I don't care who gets in. Anyway, listen, thank you for letting me get on about all that. And I'm sorry, but, it just makes me angry.
I hear you. Thank you, Marjorie. Good to speak to you again.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.